Hi, this is Doug Case with risingline.com. I am going to walk you through the process for basic process for updating content in VerticalResponse using their Canvas feature, using based on a custom HTML email template design that we would have created for your account. So I've got pulled up in front of me a copy of the original HTML email design, which is what you typically do when you want to create a new email based on this design. Just go into the drafts, copy the master that we created, change the content, and then you can send it out with the new content. It keeps the same design. I've pulled up also a Word document. Seems pretty typical. People will create new content for a newsletter or email in Word and at first, and then want to get it placed formatted in the VerticalResponse canvas before sending it out. So a couple things I want to mention up front. First of all, you will want to be using Firefox as your browser. It's going to be the most consistent and going to give you a few more options with their interface. With Canvas, there's downsides to it. So the trade-off for using Canvas is it allows non-coders to update the content in one of these designs, where typically, and really what we recommend, is that you have us do it, someone that's a company that's experienced in HTML email coding, or secondly, if you have in-house your own web developers and coders, we can walk them through a quick tutorial so they get some of the aware of some of the nuances of the HTML email. They can make your updates, and those are the recommended ways, but of course that means you have to involve a coder and there's more cost and time involved. If you want to attempt to do it with Canvas, just be aware, there is a trade-off. There's going to be some limitations, and one of the biggest limitations is you're going to want to keep the layout of your text relatively simple as possible to avoid having issues. So in this, and basically that means headings, paragraphs, and you'll want to avoid other elements. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. The number one best way to do it, every single one of these elements has its own coding attached to it. This has the coding inline to the title. This paragraph has its own specific coding for the font, typeface, spacing, all those types of things. The best thing to do is highlight and type over. In this case, we've got two different types of styling on this title. So type the first part, and then to keep that orange typeface color, we may need to start right in there. If you run into something like that, type it over like that. So that's the best way to ensure that you're going to keep the exact same styling and consistency. Obviously, the title, it's not that big a deal, but if you have a whole paragraph or paragraphs, you don't want to retype it. So I'm going to show you how to copy that over and clean out the code. The important thing to remember, again, is we want to do one element at a time. So we don't want to take this new content, copy 3 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, or the whole thing, select this, copy a bunch, and copy over 3 or 4 or 5 paragraphs. We want to do one paragraph at a time. And so in the Word document, we just highlight the new content, copy. We go over to our VerticalResponse Canvas screen, highlight the paragraph. Do not paste directly from here. What you want to do first is click Paste from Word. This is going to clean up that Word code or whatever that's in the background. Use Paste from Word even if you're not using Word. If you're using anything else, use that instead of pasting directly in. It will paste the text in this window, cleans out some of that code and styling, and then click OK. And you'll notice that it's now changed out the style, or changed out the content, but it's kept the styling consistent. So in the event you're not going to have the same number of paragraphs in your original email design as you do in your new content, just go in and delete extra paragraph. In this case, we've got a single paragraph in the new content, and then a 5-bullet list after that. Now, another important thing: I recommend never using the bullet list, unordered list, and ordered list tags from in here. When we lay it out in the content, we never use those HTML tags because they render inconsistently across different email clients. You just want to make these basically lines or paragraphs, and then add this bullet graphic in. So in the original one we had 3. In the new one we have 5. So what we can do, and we're going to just copy that. I'm going to hit enter or return depending on what system you're on, and then do a Control V and paste it. And one of the things I want to notice, or want you to notice, is the spacing is off a little bit here. On the original list, there was some spacing between those. On this, when we hit return or enter, it's actually doing a line break, not a paragraph. So we want our spacing to be consistent. So all we have to do is just copy this again, hit return, paste, return, paste, return, paste. Now we've got 5 bullet points, and we're going to just delete these old 2. And then we'll just go ahead and copy over each line of text. One of the things I'd recommend doing, we're looking at the Word document here. We have these 5 bullet points. Go ahead and highlight that list in Word, and then remove the bullet points from that before you try doing this, just to make sure it doesn't copy over everything else. So you want to keep it as plain and simple as possible on both ends. So we highlight it, we're copying it, we're going to change this first bullet point. So we highlight that, we go paste from Word, we click in here. Sometimes you may have some spaces or something with, you may be able to backspace and delete those right in that screen, or you might wait until you paste it here and do it. So we do one line at a time. I'm not going to go through all 5, it works the same way. You can see, going back to our new content, that the next thing we have is another heading. So we don't need this paragraph that was here before, so we can just get rid of that, delete that. Now we have a new heading. This one doesn't have any extra colors or anything, so I'm just going to go over and highlight the new subheading on the second one, highlight just the minimum amount of text that I can on that, go paste from Word, paste it, and now we've got the new text, but we've retained the styling with the underline on it. So, and then in the new one, we've got one big paragraph. So I'm going to go in there and just select this one paragraph to replace the or to add the new paragraph text to. Paste from Word, click in here, paste in the little window here, hit OK. So we've got the next paragraph in here. There's a numbered list in here, and it's going to work exactly the same way as we did the unordered list, but in this we've got a sample here that I've already set up, so we might as well use that. I'll just delete up to there and just go ahead and change out this. These are just paragraphs with the number in front of them that's going to serve as our list to avoid issues. The next one, so we've got in our new content, we need another heading. So what we want to do on this, and this is pretty important, we want to make sure that we're selecting. I'll actually see where my cursor is here. I'm actually kind of clicking above that. I want to make sure that I get all the code for that. So I'm going to click up there, press my mouse button, hold it down, and I'm actually going to go ahead and grab that heading and this first paragraph, and I'm going to hit Control-C on my keyboard, and then under this list where we have a numbered list, we want to add it in here, so I'm going to go there and hit Control-V. And so now I've got myself another section, but I'm copying the styling. I don't want to start typing from scratch. I want to copy it like that. Now when I paste it from, as long as I'm using Firefox, if I'm pasting it from the canvas to the canvas, I do not go through paste from Word. I use paste from Word when I'm pasting content that is originated outside the canvas. When I'm pasting within the canvas, I actually want the styling to carry over. So now I've got the next heading, and I'm going to go ahead and select the next paragraph, one paragraph at a time, highlight that. Because it's an external content, I want to paste from Word so it gets cleaned up, Control V. There's a little space up there, sometimes it does that. Go ahead and click OK. If you paste something, and for whatever reason their paste from Word doesn't clean it up correctly, maybe the typeface is going to be a little bit smaller or something like that, just go to the undo and try doing it again. You may have to experiment a couple times, and this is a limitation of the Canvas system through VerticalResponse. Hopefully they'll get it improved. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to paste it in there, and a lot of times it'll clean. I'm not getting it to not display correctly, but sometimes you may run into it may not. Another thing that you can do if you're having trouble pasting a particular thing, like I said, if it doesn't look right, make sure you check it, hit undo. If you're having trouble pasting it, try grabbing it from Word. Let's say that this paragraph was giving us trouble for whatever reason. We copy it, we open up a plain text editor, like in Windows on this Mac I'm using TextEdit. In Windows it would be Notepad. You don't want to use Word or anything like that. It has to be a plain text editor. Copy the paragraph from Word to the plain text editor, and then just immediately copy it again, and then go over to your Canvas and paste from Word and paste it in there. And again, it's not looking any different in our sample, but because we don't actually have an issue. But if you do run into problems pasting for whatever reason, try doing that, because pasting it first into a plain text editor will also serve to clean out some excess code that could be behind the scenes and causing problems. So going back to our new content, we have this section's first paragraph. We have a second paragraph. What I want to do is always pick an existing paragraph if possible and highlight that, paste from Word, paste in there, and so now I've got the new content. If I have extra paragraphs, then I just highlight them, hit delete, and there I go. I've got my content updated. There's areas over here that I can update as well. You want to type over these. I would recommend typing in these areas, especially smaller areas like this, but it basically works the same way. So now we see we start off with the original master HTML email custom design. We've changed out all the content, and all the styling is matching exactly the original one. One other thing I wanted to point out, because I don't think it came up in this example, is let's say that in our master we need to add a paragraph. So basically it's going to be, we're just going to highlight it, copy, and this will be from the existing canvas. Take it down and then Control V, copy it in there first, and then go to our new content and copy it, paste from Word. So just remember, if you're copying on the canvas, always just copy and paste directly. If you're copying externally, make sure you go with paste from Word. One last thing I want to emphasize is do not use all of these as little as possible. And because anytime you're using any of these styling things up here, the chances are that the code that their canvas is putting in may not be consistent with what you have already. So that's it. And basically, you just continue on, save this, test, email it, and it's ready to go. So hopefully that gave you some guidelines, ideas to help make your job easier of updating content. And as always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me, risingline.com, or you can call 208-475-3192. Happy to answer questions or help whenever you need. Thanks so much.